to Mountain Valley Today. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch our program today, and I'm very excited to have Jerod Sharp with us. Jerod is an 18-year-old young man from Sylvania, Alabama, who is running for city council. So, Jerod, welcome, bud. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're going to ask you lots of questions, and hopefully you'll have a good answer for all of them.
I'm hoping to.
I'm sure you will. Let's start off by letting the viewers know who Jerod Sharp is. Tell us about your family, your school life, and I know a lot about you, but maybe these people don't.
All right. Well, my name is Jerod Sharp. I'm currently 18 years old from May. I attend Sylvania High School, and I'm a senior this year, actually. And I play varsity basketball and varsity tennis. And I'm also very involved within my community and school. I'm the TGIF captain. I am a class officer. I've been in SGA since 7th grade. I'm also in Beta Club, and the Beta Club is probably where you know me best.
That's true. Well, I have watched you play basketball a little bit, and tennis.
That is true.
So tell us about your family, and then let's hear about your club life.
All right. Well, my father's name is Matt Sharp, and he is currently serving as the chairman of the Board of Education of DeKalb County.
And let me just say, he's a great chairman.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm sure he appreciates that, too.
Just a little plug. He's my boss, the big boss.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll remember that.
Yeah.
But he's also the DeKalb County administrator as well, so he deals a lot with, he's a certified public accountant, so he kind of handles the county's money a little bit and stuff like that.
A lot. Not a little bit, but a lot.
You're probably right. And my mother's name is Cherise Sharp. She is a respiratory therapist at Highlands Medical in Scottsboro. So kind of got the medical side of the family, too. Yeah. My older brother's name is Corey Roberts, and he is 31 and has two amazing and beautiful kids in Scottsboro. And my older sister's name is Jesselyn Sharp, and she is currently serving as the president of SGA at Jacksonville State University.
Wow, and that's a huge honor.
It is. She worked very hard for that.
Well, congratulations, young lady. We really are proud of you. Well, let's hear about your school life. Tell us what you're involved with tennis, you're involved with basketball, which you're really good at both of those.
Thank you.
But where I probably know you the best is your involvement with the National Beta Club. So why don't you share with the folks out there what National Beta Club is and what your involvement has been with that organization.
Okay, well, the National Beta Club in general is an academic excellence club for those students in their high schools who achieve a high grade, basically A's and B's.
Yes.
And my freshman year, I served as the 2013-2014 National Beta Reporter. And it was a very extensive process.
It is. People don't really realize what a big deal that is. Why don't we start at the beginning and what you had to do first? There's several hurdles you have to overcome.
Yes, you do. And at the moment, when I first signed up to run, I was 14 years old. So I go to state, and I'm only 14 years old, and I'm having to write a 2-minute speech to present in front of 5,000 teenagers who are probably judging every single word I say.
They're a hard crowd. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, yeah.
Hard crowd.
Hard crowd. But it really was a great experience, and it's kind of what instilled this love of public speaking that I have. And
that's great.
And getting to do that was really kind of bursting out of my bubble at that moment, because back then I wasn't as extroverted as I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So if it really wasn't for the Beta Club and all that it did for me, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Well, we're glad you had that experience. So you went to state and you spoke to all these people, and lo and behold, you won.
Yeah. I did. I was very fortunate to have won that, and it just really blew my mind, really, because I honestly didn't believe in myself to win such an office,
Right.
But I did. And so then I was honored to go and represent the state of Alabama, running for a national office, which was actually held in Alabama that year.
It was the first time it's ever been. It was in Mobile, and I was the host state sponsor, and that was huge for me and huge for you as well.
It definitely was. I hate to say this, but I was kind of disappointed. I was really hoping to travel to another state, but hey.
Well, Mobile's so far away. We'll pretend like it's another state.
I was about to say, it was about a 7-hour drive anyways.
Yeah, it was
so
a long
it basically
way there.
was.
Yeah.
So made it to nationals, and I had to run against 7 other candidates for the same office. And for all 5 offices, there was 40 candidates, I believe. So there was 2 rounds. The first round was for every single candidate. You presented a 2-minute speech, and then your skit team would come on and perform a skit for you. And everyone got to partake in that. And then they had a voting round. And then the top 3 for each office, which there are 5 offices, were rewarded to the next round. And that next round, you're kind of put on the spot because you don't have a lot of time to prepare.
That's right.
Because they vote in that morning, and then that night, you're having to present that 1-minute speech that you're supposed to write after the voting.
And the reason for that is they're trying to put these young people on the spot to see how well they'll respond to speaking on their or thinking on their feet.
Yes.
And the reason for that is you're in charge of a state convention and then also as a national officer of the national convention. And you have the best laid plans, but they never ever go as you plan. There's always a problem or something you have to fix. And so that requires these young people to see how well they think on their feet and how they are problem solving, spur of the
Yes.
moment.
Yes,
But
I
anyway,
agree.
continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, it's fine. And I was one of those that had forgot what they had wrote in their 1-minute speech and had to kind of think on their feet. And I say it went pretty well. And then
I say so. You won that office.
I did. And
Congratulations
thank you.
again.
And after that, we were put on the spot because you had to answer a question.
Yes, like a Miss America draw out of the hat kind of
Yes.
question that you had not seen, I don't believe.
I don't think we saw. So
And so, from being a state and a national officer, that gave you some valuable experience that allowed you to travel. So, why don't you tell us what that led to because of your national office with the National Beta Club?
well, being a national officer, I was basically given the awesome experience of traveling to so many states to speak in front of kids my age. I traveled to Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia even, and in Alabama, obviously. And I got to speak in front of so many people my age who were kind of interested in the same thing, and it was just really a humbling experience as well. And the Beta Club's motto is lead by serving others.
That's right.
And they really instill in their officers especially, it's about the people. It's about service. Those are true leaders. So, and I kind of see it as public office. I'm running for this public office. It's a public service.
That's right. That's
And
exactly
so
right.
it's all sparked from this Beta Club experience.
Well, we're really excited about your candidacy, and people might say, well, why would this 18-year-old decide to run for city government? Well, you've been a state and a national officer. You have this public speaking experience, and you have this passion to be a servant for others. So tell us why you decided all of a sudden to go to City Hall and sign on the dotted line and say, I am running for city council. What pushed you to that point?
Well, I had always thought about it, just thinking, well, that might be a really neat thing to try, at
Mhm.
least, because I would be 18. And it was about a year ago that I first started thinking about it.
Okay.
And I had sort of forgotten about it. But me and my dad went to Washington, D.C. for a summer trip the week before the qualification deadline was. And just going to Washington, D.C. is such an amazing experience.
It is
as
an
well.
amazing experience.
It really
Everyone
is.
should make the trip to Washington. It is very humbling
It's
and
very, yes,
a
it
solemn
is.
experience to
Mhm.
see those monuments you've only seen in textbooks or on television.
Yes, I would highly agree. And I would also advise to book your hotels a long time before you go, because me and Dad had the worst time trying to find a hotel at night because there's so many people there at the same time you are. But going around to all these monuments and seeing all these historical figures and how we have just honored them with these monuments, it's just kind of sparked that interest again.
Mm-hmm.
It really was, you can do this, I can do this, I don't see my age as a disadvantage. And so, me and Dad, all the way home, we talked about it for 8 hours straight.
It is a long drive home from
Yes, it
Washington,
is.
D.C.
And so, that next morning, I woke up and I went to the town hall and signed my name.
Well, that is exciting. I know you've gotten a lot of press about being so young and joining the ranks of a politician or a potential politician. So what are some things that you see in the town of Sylvania that you can bring to the table to maybe to work toward, or maybe it'll be your platform that you'll be focused on to try to improve?
Well, one thing that I would love to improve, I'm not sure how well I can do it, because it all depends on the other council members and the
Mhm.
mayor and the citizens themselves.
And that's one thing people don't realize. You're one vote, just like I'm one vote on current
Right.
city council, and one vote is one vote. There's a lot of others to consider. So continue, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
You're fine. I would really like to raise the revenue for the town. And doing that, I would to do that, I would really like to invite businesses to come in, which is a lot easier said than done. Sylvania currently does not have any zoning laws, which I believe would be one of the biggest problems, that we don't have any franchise businesses other than Dollar General. And that Dollar General is booming. I mean, it's a very, very good store. Definitely would try to create an ordinance for zoning laws, and it wouldn't be a huge amount. It'd just be from the Dollar General to about the pharmacy on 75 there. And I've had a lot of complaints about not having a grocery store, because Dollar General, it's kind of your supplies, your supply store, you know?
Yeah.
It's not really where you can go down and get your groceries. So I would definitely try to maybe persuade a Foodland to come in Sylvania and build, because Otter and Section are both either Sylvania size or even smaller, and they have one. So I'm sure Foodland would be more than willing to work with us, which that all depends on population as well. And then again, how much the citizens themselves are willing to work with the council members and work with the mayor, because for municipal government to be successful and to achieve, there has to be this harmonious air between the three. So that would definitely be one of the things I would like to do. Sylvania also doesn't have, well, I don't want to say it like this, like we don't have something, but we really don't have that community event that just draws everyone together. And being in between Henniger and Rainsville, that can sometimes be hard to do, because Henniger has the Potato Festival and Rainsville has the holiday parades, and they're both really great things, but why not Sylvania?
Yeah.
So one of the things...
Well, and you have the lake there.
We do have the lake there, and that is one of the things I really do want to highlight on. I would love to have a fireworks show, Sylvania Town Fireworks Show, because I work in a fireworks store that my uncle owns, and my cousins own the fireworks franchise.
Okay.
So I know for a fact that I could get Sylvania a pretty good town show. And I can probably promise you that one. Scheduling it around other towns' fireworks shows, obviously, because we don't want to interfere with the Potato Festival, because it is a really big thing. And it's not even just Henniger and Sylvania area, it's kind of a DeKalb County thing. So I definitely want to schedule around that. But I would also like to make it an all-day thing. Maybe throw in a 5K or a parade, too.
Right.
Because I remember growing up, we always had to go somewhere else for one of those. We had to go to Fort Payne for the fireworks. We had to go to Henniger for the Potato Festival. And they're both really great things. But why can't we have that in Sylvania? So definitely would try to create events to build up the community camaraderie. And definitely would try to incorporate the school. I know that we have a DeKalb County school system, and I don't want to infringe on that at all.
Right.
But I would really love to recognize students from Sylvania that accomplish a goal, or, you know, get an award, or are recognized for something. We could recognize them at our town hall, and that would really encourage more people to come out to the town meetings, as well as making those kids feel special.
Right. Right.
Because I will say this, when I won my national office, I was recognized by the county government and the DeKalb County schools, but my own town didn't quite recognize me at one of those events. And I'm not saying I needed that glory or that fame, but that would have just made me feel good that my town was behind my back. So I definitely would want to do that for the kids, because they are our future.
Right. Right.
And instilling in them, encouraging them, hey, highlighting, they made an achievement, highlighting that was really going to encourage them to go further and further in the future.
Right. Well, I think those are some great plans to move forward with a grocery store, an event, bring more businesses and increase the revenue stream. What do you think will be some challenges as you try to move forward in things maybe you've thought about things you want to bring, but maybe there's something you want to change. Is there anything you really want to change that your current government is already doing?
Well, change can sometimes be a controversial word, especially in smaller towns, because there's a lot of citizens in Sylvania that don't necessarily want change. I would like to make a difference, though.
Okay.
I would definitely like to make a difference. Sylvania does not have a 24-hour protection from the police department. I can't remember how many hours, and those are great guys. They do a really good job. I'm not putting them down at all. But if we could extend that to a 24-hour protection, I feel like the citizens would feel a little better, because we don't have a lot of crime rate in Sylvania. But if you kind of think about it, I feel like more franchise restaurants or franchise businesses would feel more comfortable being in town with zoning laws and 24-hour protection. Because, if we have a disturbance at a certain hour in the night, our police department isn't there
And you
So
have
the
to.
county
County.
has to go, and it takes a little bit longer.
Hmm.
So I would definitely try to get that going, but it's also according to which council member is over each department.
Right, right.
And so there's all that to consider.
Well, those sound like very ambitious goals, and you're right. It all comes down to a revenue stream. But I really think the event for the town is something that would be wonderful to utilize, especially around the
I
lake.
agree.
I had one of the director of tourism from Fort Payne over to Cobb County came not long ago, and I've mentioned him several times. And the reason I do that is because we in DeKalb County have so many hidden gems. We go to Gatlinburg to see the mountains, which we have them here.
We live on a mountain.
We do.
Yeah.
Lots of people come here to vacation, and we find that so strange. A lady was on not long ago, and her main structure of business is from tourism in Fort Payne, Alabama, with a restaurant and a sort of like an antique mall going on. And how sad it is that we have so much to offer in DeKalb County, and we find ourselves going away for things.
Right.
Well, we ought to utilize our businesses and industries that we have here to get things that we need. Well, what do you think, Will? Have you been out like door to door talking to people?
Yes, I have a little bit, and I've met some amazing citizens, and I've had some really long conversations, and I've had some really short conversations. So it's been quite the experience,
Well,
nonetheless.
you know, this day and time, our society has changed so much. In my day, growing up, when back in the dinosaur ages, when I was 18, people would come and visit, and they would hang out at the porch or come in, and it was a welcoming thing. But our society today is so much more mobile, and we're data driven and techno driven that we sometimes view it as an interruption when someone comes to our door. But I'm really glad to hear you had some positive response and long
Yes.
conversations.
Yes, I have, and that's actually where I got the grocery store idea, because I had
Really?
citizens kind of suggest that that's one thing that would do well here, because they're having to travel so far to get their groceries, like to Walmart or to Foodland in Rainsville. So definitely would listen to the citizens, and that's one of my main focuses, is just to listen to the residents of Sylvania, keep an open arm, an open mind, open ears, open eyes to everything that I can.
And probably, I think you would be open to people contacting you to have an open door policy,
Yes, yes.
being able to contact you and talk about problems. What do you say to those people that are like, "Oh, he's just too young"? How do you answer that question?
Well,
I mean, 18 is young, especially when you're old like me. But you have a lot of experience from which to draw from. I've seen you speak publicly in front of those thousands of individuals. I've traveled with you to New Orleans, where we had 12,000
787 kids.
down there. So I've seen you on the ball field, on the tennis court, in public speaking. So I've seen your maturity, I would say. So how do you convince that citizen of Sylvania, rather, to say, "All right, I'm gonna trust in this guy"? How do you do that?
Well, and that's actually kind of a tough question, because with my age, most people are going to kind of stereotype and put me into one category, which, I mean, most people my age don't run for a public office and don't typically step out of their comfort zones and do things such as this. So I would use exactly that argument. You know, not every teenager, or an 18-year-old, as I should say, does something like this, goes out of their comfort zone and does something that, you know, adults do.
Well, and I will say, as an older person who ran for city government, there is a huge learning curve, no matter what the age.
Right.
And we're very fortunate with our municipalities that are part of the League of Municipalities, which is a state organization down in Montgomery that we all seem to be a part of.
Right.
And they have a huge set of resources to pull from that would help someone, anyone
Right.
who's never been in public office before, with attorneys and all kinds of classes you can go to, and sort of like professional development, but continuing ed classes where you would learn more and more things about how city government operates, or town governments, or whatever the municipality would be. So as an old person who's been in that place, I would encourage you and anyone else who's in elected office to go and draw on those resources because they're very valuable. And you can pick up a phone and call an attorney just like that, or send an
Right.
email, and they're pretty quick in their response, getting back to you to help you solve a problem.
Oh, yes. And the current town clerk for Sylvania, Miss Lana Cole, has helped me tremendously because there's no telling how many times I've walked into town hall having to ask a question. At least, especially when I first qualified, I was in there at least 3 or 4 times a day having to ask her a question.
Am I doing
So-
this right? Am I doing this right?
Right. And one thing I would like to say about myself is that I'm a lifelong learner. And not only that, I'm a fast learner. So I'm not just okay with what I know. I want to know more and more and more, and I want to do the best of my ability.
Well, Jerod is an outstanding young man with lots of ability, and as we continue talking to him today, I'm going to draw on some of his exciting experiences from athletics. So I know that when you are playing tennis, you start off and you have an idea how the game is played, but the more and the more you play it, what usually happens?
You're very humbled the more and more you play it because some people are like, oh, you're just hitting a ball back and forth, but there's so much more to it than that.
That's exactly right. And as you play, you get better and better and better. Those serves, those forehands, backhands get better. And one of the things I know the area from which we plays people from Huntsville to
Gadsden.
Gadsden,
Yes.
even down to Pell City, Cherokee County. So you meet all kinds of people, and I've seen you in action, seen you talking to those people, and just the dialogue that Jerod brings to the table is very fresh to watch and to see. Well, what do you think would be your greatest asset to bring? I know you're a lifelong learner, and you want to continue the process of learning and making Sylvania better. But what is maybe something about you that people don't know that's going to really get you over the hump and bring you to the point of being elected? And man, that's the reason I voted for him.
Well, I would like to say that I'm a very determined individual, and probably playing high school sports that has kind of been thrust upon me as well. Once I have my mind set up and I have a goal to reach, I'll do whatever I can legally to achieve that goal. And I don't let anything hold me back. I'm wide open. I go at it as hard as I can and as swift as I can.
And the patriotic tie is something he wears quite often.
Yes, I would.
It's not just
definitely
because he's
say-
a candidate. I've seen him before dressed in his patriotic attire. That's a positive way to say that.
Yes, yes. I love America, and there's no one that can tell me anything different. I don't care where you're from, what you think. I believe America is the greatest country on the planet because there's such a diverse opportunity within it.
Well, you know, you're going to have naysayers about being an elected official. And I will say, from my own perspective, you know, I jumped in the boat and tried it, and I've successfully finished almost a term. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about others. I think everyone should try it at least once. You know, there's a lot of people that want to judge you from the stands and not be out on the
Right,
court.
right.
You experienced that with basketball, I'm sure. They can't believe you missed that shot. They can't believe you double dribble. They can't believe whatever you fouled that guy. But it's something that I'm very excited about, seeing young people with fresh ideas come to the table and be willing
Right,
to
right.
serve.
And one of the things, one of the reasons I'm running is to get more people my age involved and to show them that we can stand up and our voices do matter.
And every vote counts. I know a lot of people you've heard that saying, but sometimes an election can come down to one vote.
It really can, especially in these municipal elections. You know?
That's exactly right. Especially in city. Well, it can be any size city or town. Your vote does matter. And so, where can people actually go to vote in Sylvania? Is it just one location, or is there several?
I believe it's just one location. It's at the town hall on 75, across from the hardware store.
Now, what other businesses do you guys have in Sylvania besides? I know there's the pharmacy, and there is the town hall and the gas station and some other things. I know the Dollar General. What are
Right.
some other businesses or in that little stretch of road that you're thinking about possibly having some zoning ordinances in?
What other businesses are there now?
Yeah.
Well, the Dixieland restaurant is there right now.
And they
It's-
bring entertainment in some,
They
don't
do.
they?
They have karaoke, and every single Friday night they have gospel singers at 6 o'clock, and their food is to die for. It is very, very good, and that's actually where we're having a forum tonight.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. They're doing a good job about getting the community more involved too.
Well, that's exactly what you were talking about earlier, is having events so people could come and build that
Right.
system of camaraderie. That's really good. I think there's some meals and things over in there. It seems like sock meals or something.
Oh yeah, it's after the red light and you turn left. It's up on that road, and
Okay.
then we also have a hardware store that has been very successful. It's been there for as long as I
Long
can
time.
remember.
Long time. Well, as we've talked today, you've heard several things about Jerod, his leadership in the National Beta Club, his desire to continue that servant's heart and be a servant for the citizens of Sylvania. But maybe you're listening today and you're thinking, I'm sitting on the fence. I just don't know. That's just a young whippersnapper. I don't really know. How do you tell that voter? What is the last thing you can leave in that voter's mind today to help sway them when they go in that ballot box to check Jerod Sharp?
Well, I would like to say that people my age represent the future of our municipal and state and federal governments, and we have to start somewhere. We have to gain that experience somewhere. We have to get our foot in the door somewhere. And I really and truly do believe that this could be my somewhere. This could be my start. And if it is, I would work relentlessly, and I would be so determined to the very best I can, not only for myself or for the councilors and mayor, but for each and every single citizen and resident of Sylvania, Alabama. And I would definitely work to make Sylvania just a little bit better than it already is.
You know, and that's really true. If you can make the world in which you live a little better than when you leave it as when you came to it, that's what we should all be a part of. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed learning something about Jerod Sharp today, and I have certainly enjoyed getting to spend some time with him, and I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you so much.
And you've been watching Mountain Valley Today. We're on Farmers Telephone Channel 6. We're also on WFPA 1400 in Fort Payne, and you can watch any of our episodes on mountainvalleynewspaper.com. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you again.